My name is Maria, and you're listening to the podcast where we deconstruct someone's PhD experience so that you can reconstruct your own. This is a journey with many challenges, but you might find yourself in a similar situation as one of the guests here. Enjoy listening. Hello, curious researchers. In this episode, I want to talk about the difference between coaching, consulting, mentoring, and therapy. And I'm going to give examples of each of these in my life and how they show up in my life and what they do, so that you can see for yourself what it means and how it can show up in your life. First, let's start with therapy. Because a lot of people go to thinking about therapy when I mention coaching. Therapy is focused on the past and how past events have shaped who we are today. It focuses on understanding the patterns that we have adopted through these experiences and see how it affects us and influences us now in the present. And then there is a lot of discovery, how that happened, why it is, who are you today, more and more self-awareness, so that as a step further, you can work on what do you want to do about it today. I am an avid promoter of therapy because I see tremendous effects it has on me in my life. And it's been now 3 years that I'm going for it. Also, not with the same person, trying different practices, different people, different approaches. But also I see the importance of staying with one person for a longer time to really do the work. In full honesty now, if I change too often people I work with, whether it's therapy or other ways like coaching or mentoring, when I am the client, I see that I have to explain things over and over and over again. Some things that for me are already understood and normal, but for the other person, they are still a discovery because they are discovering about me and who am I. And it may seem like we just discovered that during the session, but actually the awareness of it has been present for a long time. You can see that with your friends, like friends who you know for a long time, who are really focused on you, how you are, who you are, how you are changing, that they can notice so many things about you when you say something that they can attend to it and see where it comes from. And of course, it's different with friends because we as friends, we're not always behaving towards each other as each other's therapists or coaches, but it's interesting to notice how it is with people who know you for a long time and people who have just met you. And it is a bit similar with working with people who are somewhat guiding you in a certain process. They get to know you much better. You get to develop deeper and deeper trust and deeper relationship, which becomes reparative at a certain point. Now, what is the difference between therapy and coaching? Coaching is focused on the future. It's really looking at where you are today. You are in point A and you want to get to B. But of course, if this was so straightforward, then you would not come to a coach, but already be doing this. But it means that there are some obstacles in the way, or there are things that you are doing once in a certain way and are stuck in finding solutions how to do it differently. So it is exploring how can you get from A to B and really finding the way that you are going to own. It's not giving you the solution. It's not coming to a coach and saying, hey, I want to do this. Can you tell me how to do it? That would be more of a consulting. Coaching is really looking at what is blocking you, what is standing in the way. How can we remove those obstacles so that you can get to where you want to be? And maybe in the meantime, we discover that there are other things actually that are in the center of the attention, but they were put somewhere behind. And yes, we might need to get back in the past to address certain things, but we will go back to see how it influences you now and how it influences you in the future. So it's not the idea to replace therapy and to focus on these past events, but rather to address them if they are really necessary. And if it happens that with a client we have to go back really a lot in the past and it's always going back there, then it means that it's time to go for therapy. Maybe at the same time, you can go for therapy and coaching. I do that. People with me do that. Or you can say, okay, coaching is not going to help me right now. I'm going to focus on therapy. And this is something that you can decide together with your coach or therapist. And this is perfect because then you get to hear also what is their input and how they can work with you and how can they best support you. All in all, coaching really focuses on finding your answers as a client rather than giving you answers as a consultant or mentor. And now let's look what is consulting. Consulting is giving advice on a very specific topic in a certain area. So how to do certain things to increase chances of success. For example, at university, we work with external consultants that help us write project proposals in order to increase the success chance of getting funding. These people, they are looking at the boundary conditions, what is there, what needs to be fulfilled, and then telling us how and what we need to do in order to increase our chances for success. And that would be like, giving an advice, looking at all the boundary conditions, and consulting you how to proceed further. And it's not like a clear cut. There are people who are going to do consulting and coaching or mentoring and coaching. And this is going to increase your success chances because one thing is somebody consulting you, hey, you just need to write a paper in order to finish a PhD. Sure thing. But there are a lot of things that are standing in the way of doing that. So telling you that you need to do something, it's a different thing how you perceive it and what is really happening with you. Some people are going to get excited and say, yes, I only need to write one paper. Let me go and figure out how to do it. Or some people are going to be overwhelmed and say, oh my God, I need to write this one paper. How am I going to do this? So it's important to look at what is happening with you. And for that reason, if there is a very good consultant, they're also going to have elements of coaching. Now, the final one that I want to address is mentoring. A mentor is someone who is further than you are in a certain area. So it could be your professor in that specific technical field that you are working on. It could be someone in business or entrepreneurship, in my case, where I am currently learning from a business mentor. It could be someone who had developed 3 startups and is now mentoring other people who want to build a startup. So it means that this person has gone down the road that you have and has more experience, has gone to the other side, has achieved a result that you want to achieve, and now can give you advice on how to do that. And again, having a combination of mentoring and coaching, for me personally, is the most powerful, because one thing is saying as a professor, to become a professor, you need to do XYZ for teaching, you need to have XYZ amount of proposals or money bringing here, etc., etc. But telling you what needs to happen and then assisting you and coaching you and see where the blockages are and how to overcome them, that's a combo with the coaching that for me so far is the most effective. And I want to invite you to be aware what you can get from each of these people. The professor is there to mentor you in the technical domain. You are here to get the expertise of that group, of that specific field, specific domain. And your professor might not be the person who can coach you in finding your own answers or overcoming your blockages. You are really there to get what you can get from that person in that domain that you have subscribed for. You did not subscribe to have a coach and somebody to guide you through this process from a professor right now. So my goal is also to raise awareness and have this more present in academia as well, where people can attend to each other's needs and also play a mini roles of coaching towards each other. So as a professor, that you can be a very good coach to listen to your employees, to people who are working for you, and that you can guide them from one point to the other. And of course, that the professor is not going to be the therapist, because there are individuals that are more qualified for that, and this person did not subscribe for this. So I also have to say, any of us, I'm a coach, I'm not a therapist, and it's important to make this distinction. So for me, I have gone through the coaching training. It's an International Coaching Federation certified training, and now I am getting a license for it. And it's also my duty to understand where are the boundaries when I can help you and what are the boundaries when some other professional can help you. And that is very important to be aware. But also from your side, be aware of what you are asking from your professor. Are you asking that your professor is both a mentor, a coach, a therapist? Because this is not what you have signed up for. And for me, all of these things are helping to clean our minds from clutter. So the same way that you go exercising maybe, or going for a walk, or moving your body in a certain way to maintain that physical fitness. But when I say fitness, I mean feeling good in your body, feeling good in the body that was given to us, so that it can serve us to do the research or spend time with friends or exercise our hobbies. The same thing is important to maintain for the mind. Because our minds, especially nowadays, they get cluttered very easily. There is so much input everywhere. Like even if you stay in your own apartment, there is so much information on your phone, on your TV, if you have one, on your laptop, on the internet. It gets cluttered so easily with the content that we might not consciously choose. And majority of people, majority of time, are not consciously choosing the content they're feeding themselves. All the more reason to clean the mind and attend to it in a professional way with somebody who can really help you and guide you on a weekly level. This is what works for me the best. Really do this weekly. This is a very standard thing if you look at top athletes, people who have to perform on a very high level. They have their own therapist, they have their own coach, they have their own physio, they have their own nutritionist. Every person has their own expertise and is helping them in this one specific thing. How are you attending to your needs? Are you treating yourself as a top athlete? Or are you trying to do everything yourself and be the expert in everything, finally ending up being an expert in nothing? I understand that in here, there is this dogma that we don't want to ask for help because we, as researchers, we know how to think and we know how to find ways and solutions. But have a look at the areas in your life where this has not happened, where you, quote unquote, know what to do, and maybe consciously you are aware of what is happening, but there is still no change. There is still no improvement. You're just saying, oh, okay, this is how it is, or this is who I am. By the way, I don't believe in this. You also choose whether you want to proceed with that or not. But there is work, of course. If we have been behaving in a certain way for a certain period of time, then it takes time to retrain ourselves and get a different pattern as something that is standard or something that becomes unconscious. So they're unconsciously skilled. If we talk about mastery and mastering one skill, which is what I talked in one of the previous episodes, 4 levels to mastery, this is the same thing with all of it in our lives. First, we have to become conscious, then it's going to become difficult because we are conscious and maybe it sucks right now. We know what to do, but we are not there yet. And then it's going to be trial and error, trial and error, trial and error. And in this period of trial and error, if you have support, and that support doesn't have to be from a coach, it can be your internal support, it can be from friends and family, or it can be really from a specific person who can help you in this thing. I would say just go for it. Saving your time and energy, and also showing to yourself that you can do something with support goes much faster than just beating yourself up and even increasing that critic voice that I also talk about in one of the previous episodes. I'm curious to know how this landed with you. And if you want to explore what coaching could mean for you, I invite you to book a discovery call where we can talk more about this or any topic that comes up. I'm really looking forward to seeing you there. Thanks for listening to this podcast episode. If there was anything that you discovered or found remotely interesting, do share. I'm always curious to hear what is it that you resonated with. See you in the next episode.